Hey everyone, I'm Shivas from Tech with Shivas. Today we're reacting to a video where Linus Tech Tips sends a broken PC to Best Buy and they completely mess it up. If you've ever had a frustrating tech experience, this one's for you. Quick timeout. This is my first ever YouTube video live stream upload, beginning of a brand new channel ever for the first time, and I'm super excited to be starting this. To begin with, I'm a huge fan of Linus Tech Tips. I learned how to build computers thanks to him. I actually built all of my computers and even this most latest computer thanks to him, and his recommendations. I've got it full of Noctua fans, Aorus X870E, AM5 platform, 9800X3D, NZXT AIO with more Noctua fans on it, and yeah, a bunch of other stuff. So the only thing that's in there is for my old computer is my graphics cards, the EVGA RTX 3080, just because graphics cards are hard to find at MSRP still, and it's June, almost July 2025. Okay, so on with the video. Let's see what went down, and I'll be sharing my thoughts as a tech lover and someone who actually cares about doing things right.
Why would Origin PC sponsor a video where their top-of-the-line gaming machine performs like this? Well, maybe because it doesn't. Hey, there we go. That's better. The Neuron should be getting hundreds of frames per second in CS2.
The studio quality that Linus Tech Tips uses, I mean, the actual cinematography they do is absolutely amazing. I love it. I'm such a huge fan. They've come such a long way in the last 15, 16 years. It's truly been an enjoyable journey to watch them. And that's why I chose to use Linus Tech Tips as my first reaction video, first video ever, to see how it goes. Hopefully I don't get his attention and get in trouble. I don't know. We'll see. Okay.
And ours would have if we hadn't given it to our techie friend to fix and gotten it back worse than before. Of course, it arrived from Origin in perfect working order, but, well, we'll get to that. It's a really common situation, and for many people, the next move is to prepare their wallet and head to the tech shop. If they had an Origin PC, they could just use their 24/7 lifetime support, but if they don't have an Origin PC, well, the big question is, where do you go? The service department at a big box store would surely have the processes and tools to diagnose and repair your PC, but
I have to stop it there. Okay, so only Linus Tech Tips and their crew can get a high-end super computer builder like Origin PC to send them to possibly $6,000 towers, maybe more than two, for this video. I mean, those are really, really well built and really well spec'd out computers that Origin does build. I don't get paid by anybody, but if you do care about a really high build, Origin PC is a great place to check it out. I've looked at a lot of their computers and they seem to be amazing. All right, back with the video.
On the other hand, maybe the veteran tech at the mom and pop shop down the road is best equipped to evict your system's gremlins. Yeah, we couldn't decide which route to go either. So we dropped off two identical and identically broken systems, courtesy of Origin, to compare big box versus small business. But before we get into the results, we need to know the problem. Let's take a look at the messes that we're going to be handing over.
So I take it that Linus and his team took brand new, fully built, pre-built computers that were spec'd out to the max and unplugged some wires, maybe did a couple shenanigans with pulling some plugs out of the motherboard. I don't know. I haven't seen this video. It's the first time I'm watching it along with all of you, but I'm sure they sabotaged them somehow. They had to get them to fail.
That friend everyone asks for tech support, but I don't mind helping to set up such a beautiful machine. It looks so fast. Whew, and it is! But it's a little loud. Okay, I've watched a lot of videos about system tuning, and I know what this means. Overheating.
That is where everything went from oops to OMG. That cable that was loosened during unpacking handled communication between the PC and our cooler's IQ Link system hub. So that knocked out RPM monitoring for our fans, meaning it's full throttle at clock all the time. Now, a quick reality check before we go further. The Link AIO and fans all have temperature probes in them, so this behavior doesn't normally happen. But in general, a hub running full speed due to a loss of signal is a very common scenario and one that should be easy for a technician to rectify. Too bad our friend isn't a technician. First, they tried rolling back the NVIDIA driver.
So the Link AIO and the Link Corsair Link fans, they literally have temperature probes built into the fans, which is insane technology. Corsair is really killing it. And I'm not a Corsair fanboy. I love Noctua, but that's pretty cool to see.
To the earliest one available. Unfortunately, they did so without removing the existing driver. So not only did this not solve the problem, it created a new one. Device Manager is now reporting error code 43. Oops. Too bad my friend didn't notice. Then they ran CCleaner and started uninstalling stuff in hopes that it would help, which it did not. Friendo was running short on ideas by this point, so they dug around in the BIOS and disabled everything they could find that would cause extra heat in hopes that the fans would slow down. And for good measure, they also locked.
That's a huge no-no. Disabled everything in the BIOS. I saw AMD Expo go, and are they locking the cores at 8?
The core clocks as low as they would go. It's too bad the LTT Hat Pro doesn't make you smarter, just more water resistant. LTTstore.com. Now, as a pretty average buyer of a pre-built system, I don't know any of what my friend did, and even if I did, I wouldn't understand what it meant. All I would know is my games are unplayable, they crash, and my system is as loud as a vacuum cleaner. I would have no way of knowing, is it a hardware or a software problem, or even how to tell the difference, and I would probably be scared of damaging it any further. Now, I could contact the manufacturer, and for a brand new PC, that's probably a pretty good bet. Origin PC has scored well for customer service in our Secret Shopper series. Origin PC, what can I say?
Wow.
A+. They nailed it.
Good.
Under 10 minutes, and
Bacon face mask.
24/7. A+. And they have free lifetime support. But not everybody has a brand new PC, or an Origin PC for that matter. Now, of course.
Like I said, those Origin PCs are really big money, but they're really well made. Yeah, Linus only works with the best, it looks like.
What we actually are dealing with here is a software and BIOS mess and one loose cable. The quickest way of fixing it then would be to plug the cable in, clear the CMOS, and reinstall Windows. But it can also be fixed without doing either of those things if you know exactly what we did. The techs, of course, don't, so let's listen in and see what kinds of conclusions they drew, starting with the Langley Best Buy.
Hey, so I bought this off of a friend a couple days ago, and it's been giving me problems when I've been trying to play games on it. They're just running super slow, and the thing sounds like it's gonna.
The receipt?
No.
Did we send Chewy?
Friend who bought it from Origin, I believe.
Okay, I thought you purchased it from Best Buy.
No. Yeah.
It's a custom made, right?
I'm not sure.
So the Best Buy technician thinks it's a custom-made PC, which it is. It's a pre-built, made by a very high-end company. For the third time I'm saying that, I don't know why. But it's literally, component-wise, they use off-the-shelf, non-proprietary stuff that makes it a custom build. Things of like Best Buy employees, maybe not the employees, Best Buy, the store wouldn't know how to work on things like this. Let's see how they fare.
He bought it and never even took it out of the box.
It's a custom.
Yeah. Put a sticky note here with
So he
my
calls it a
Steam
custom.
in case you need to get in there.
Like when you play games, they're lagging or they're
Super slow, yeah.
super slow.
One of the games I have, Helldivers 2, when I open it, it just crashes and it says something about the CPU being bad or something. I'm not sure.
Chewy did a really good job of both playing the ignorant customer who has no idea what he's talking about, while also putting out a nice little trail of breadcrumbs for them to follow in order to diagnose this issue. He even gave them access to a Steam account that has a specific game installed that requires AVX support, so they would get the error message that would help them reconfigure the BIOS.
We're not taking it.
Best Buy said we're not taking it. Listen, I'm Indian, and it sounds like that gentleman might be from India as well, as is the norm for a lot of people who are in IT or tech support. But that's not the case. He was just rude. He was just like, we're not taking it. The Geek Squad is supposed to handle your problems, aren't they? They're here to help you. Let's see what Linus says.
Excuse me? I mean, I guess, right? Like, I can't force you to work on something. You can just be like, no, look, this job is not right for us. Maybe take it somewhere else, but we are not taking it. It's a little direct.
Because we're not working on custom build. We're
Okay.
working on units that are, let's say, cases, what stuff like that, because we have those parts from the brand
Okay.
directly with manufacturer warranty.
Okay.
Fortunately, I'm really sorry for that, but we can't really.
Okay, he tried to soften it a little bit.
There's some people go memory. That's the shop nearby. They do build custom builds and stuff like that.
On the one hand, I kind of get his rationale. Look, we don't necessarily have access to replacement parts for this thing. On the other hand, if you're going to recommend that I go to another shop, can you at least tell me the actual name of the shop? Ah, the irony of not being able to remember the name of memory something.
Exactly. And just like Linus always says, he doesn't like to bring or jump into or add into the conversation unless he's bringing something to the table. It's kind of like when he did his screwdrivers and his pens, all of which I have around here somewhere. So yeah, but Best Buy not being able to have the exact components like that, I think it was a Zotac GPU and some of the other stuff they have. I mean, I'm sure they can order it from their vendors, but maybe they just don't want the liability.
Express, that's it. So we just got told to leave, essentially, at the first Best Buy. That can't be policy. Emily, that's not policy, is it?
No, we called them afterwards, and they told us that yes, they actually absolutely do work on like pre-built computers and also custom-built computers that they don't sell in their stores.
You know what I bet it's about? They probably saw how high-end it was, looked at the issues that we were having with it, and went, this thing's haunted, and just didn't want to deal with it. Because you make a mistake on a, $600 office box, okay, what? That's a $50 mistake or a $100 mistake. You make a mistake on a, $5,000, $6,000 Canadian dollar gaming rig. Let's move on. Drop off this time at the Best Buy on King George Highway.
Hey, what the hell is this? How big is this? What do you want to do now?
Get it fixed.
Another
Whatever
ending,
it needs.
Great.
Chewy really does play the ignorant customer extremely well. He has like strong trust fund kid vibes. I've got this like crazy machine, I'll just fix it. I guess, sure, whatever. Chewy's our community coordinator, by the way, so if you ever see a reply on Reddit that's not from me, it's probably from
That's
him.
why I only
You
have
use
one
TV
banana.
or Excel monitor? You
He's
have?
got
A monitor.
It's an interesting question. Do you hook it up to a TV or a monitor? Unless they were trying to help figure out if we were plugged into the onboard GPU or the dedicated graphics card. Maybe?
It's a custom build order.
I bought it off a friend. I'm not sure.
If it is a custom build PC, they won't look at it.
Wait, this is an interesting distinction, and I can kind of see where they're coming from, but even at this second Best Buy location, they're drawing a line between a system that was built of custom parts by an experienced integrator like an Origin PC, and a system that could be built of the exact same parts, but by the individual user. And in that case, it's not about the value of the parts and the risk of, breaking them or the difficulty finding replacements, because they're willing to work on an Origin PC. They just don't want to work on potentially those exact same parts if you put it together yourself and maybe bungled something up, because who knows, you could be trying to blame them for it if you bent a pin in the socket or whatever the case may be. They've probably run into some horror stories working on custom PCs.
Did you do a diagnosis or?
So my friend tried, but he moved just after he sold it to me. It almost seems like what he did made it worse. I don't really know what he did.
And the thing is, if you've ever worked in a tech shop, you will know exactly how common this kind of scenario is. Oh yeah, my friend or my nephew or my...
The Best Buy, at least the second Best Buy, they should have at least done some more research. Maybe called in a manager, done something where all those parts, NVIDIA, Zotac, AMD, Intel, the motherboards, the Gigabyte, this and that, they have access to those reps. I mean, it's Best Buy. I know as a kid, I would never take, and I am up there with the millennials, I would never take my car to Best Buy for the car stereos, because their car stereos were garbage. So I can see where that might draw a parallel here with taking a high-end or a custom-built computer to Best Buy and trusting them, because I never trusted them to hook up one speaker in my car. And I used to have the subwoofers and all the jazz. So I can see drawing that parallel. Maybe these guys at Best Buy just aren't into either A, liability, which is smart, or B, experimenting, having fun, and possibly fixing something and having a little bit of an adventure. I don't know. Let's see what Linus has to say.
Uncle worked on the system and I don't know what they did. And you see all kinds of wild things that supposedly techie friends and family members will do to systems. They're well-intentioned. They just don't really have familiarity with the hardware.
This is not a software issue, so it's kind of a hardware issue. We need to ship it out to the repair center. We have it.
What? You can't tell me that you know what kind of issue it is without even turning on the system? Then again, what I suspect is that they just don't want to deal with it there in the store. They want to send it to the depot, so they're just telling us anything that it takes to get us to accept that this needs to go to the depot so that they can just kind of go, oh yeah, fancy expensive system, I don't want to deal with it. I send it away to the other guys.
For shipping and diagnosis, it's
Liability. That's a liability thing. They don't want the liability at the store. They'd rather send it to the professionals at the depot.
$100.
Man, $100 to even start to do anything.
Do you have any important data?
That's a good question.
Okay.
They're gonna call you after diagnosis. Do you wanna sign up for the membership?
Crazy. Wait, what? Sign up for membership? Hopefully you're gonna fix it. I won't need a membership to Best Buy. The whole drop-off process at the second Best Buy took about 20 minutes.
Could you imagine if they had a membership program for repairs? Bring a computer in every 2 months and we'll do a tune-up and just fix them for free, no charge, as long as you're a member. Well, if you fix it right, you don't have to keep fixing it. That's Best Buy, and that's why they never worked on my car stereos.
Half of which was filling out paperwork. They did log the issues that we had with the machine, and they gave us a case ID and a phone number we could call to get updates, but we're still having a hard time figuring out exactly what Best Buy's policy is with respect to working on custom PCs versus just OEM PCs from HP, Lenovo, and the like. When we called the main line, they said no. There's no reason that they wouldn't look at a completely custom-built PC, let alone one that was built by a system integrator. But both of the stores we talked to were like, whoa, 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 when it came to working on custom PCs, and only one of them was willing to work on our Origin. Now for the one I'm more excited about. Let's listen to the drop-off at Black Lab, which you guys may recognize as the mom-and-pop shop that we bought all the...
Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched a lot of LTT actually went into this store and bought all, Linus and his whole team bought all of his old inventory. Some of it was from the 90s, and just, you know, it was all just e-waste, and got rid of it and properly got rid of it, and paid him enough money so he can get proper inventory that's from this year and time. So looks like that's where they're going again.
The old inventory from a couple of months ago. Keith seemed like the kind of battle-hardened technician that should be able to make short work of this, but only the results matter, and let's see what they are.
What's going on with it?
Right to the point.
So, first
Thanks,
of all,
Keith.
it's insanely loud, and I feel like that's not right.
Okay.
And it's running slow in general, but especially trying to run games, like it can't even run anything really.
Really?
Yeah,
SSD, obviously.
I'm not sure.
Huh. First thing he asks is, do you have an SSD?
An SSD wouldn't slow down gameplay that much. Not the way he was showing in the beginning of the movie where it was stuttering and stutter. It would slow down when it went to load a new block or a new scene in an HDD. But
That makes a ton of sense. It's really interesting how the kind of shop you go to dictates the kinds of questions they ask, just like Secret Shopper. You know, Dell is asking questions like, are you buying an entire fleet of these things? Do you want on-site service? Whereas a custom builder like Origin PC is asking, what games do you want to play and what FPS do you want to play them at? So in the same way, Keith probably sees a lot of 15-year-old machines, so he wants to know, okay, is there anything obvious that's making this thing dog slow, like does it have a hard drive? And also, do I even want to work on another machine that has a hard drive in it? Wait, 10 minutes for an application to install?
You didn't even take it out of the
Very
box. So.
interesting.
What?
Yeah.
How much?
That's hilarious. Chewy doesn't know how much he paid for it.
Like
He
3K?
just made up a number.
Yeah, he was moving away, so we just wanted to get it off his hands.
But it's not running right.
Nope.
Maybe that's why he wanted to get it off. Did you get that?
Yeah, for now.
So it goes into Windows,
Yes.
and then everything goes.
Yeah.
Anywhere. Is there a password?
Nope, but my Steam info is on a sticky note there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go home tonight.
I can't believe neither of the Best Buys called Chewy on giving his Steam credentials, whereas Keith's like, yo, dude, low points for professionalism, but high points for efficiency. The whole interaction with Keith took less than 5 minutes.
Is it a 4090? You know?
I don't know.
We could take this video card and then a 1060. I'm just kidding, man.
Oh man.
that would be dirty, especially in the GPU shortage, the drought of, I'll even say it again, of 2025, the 5-year drought of GPUs. Take out a 4090 and put in a 1060. I think, no, Keith doesn't know that it's LTT taking it in there. So he's just cracking jokes as an independent shop owner. All right.
See, I don't know Keith very well, but I've spent enough time with him to know that I think he's honest enough that he wouldn't actually just swap out the hardware in someone's machine who obviously has no idea what they have. But he's also smart enough to see that this is someone he freaking could if he really felt like it.
Awesome.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Take care of it.
Just as I remember him. An efficient troll. Now it's time for pickup. Chewy was sick that day, so we sent in
LTT employee.
to grab the machines, starting with Best Buy.
So I just want to share that report.
Okay.
Can I see the document that they're looking at, please?
Yep.
My goodness, we got a whole folder. Jeez.
Motherboard, the hard drive, RAM, everything is good. So this is the thermal paste.
Okay.
Wait a second. Whoa, 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 whoa. How much did I pay for this whole tube of thermal paste, of which you guys used one tiny dollop? They sold me a giant tube of thermal paste because they re-and-read the cooler.
They repasted the CPU cooler? I mean, when you took it off, you could see that it was probably pretty evenly spread. Origin made it. But then I can see the sense in it once you took it off and broke the adhesion, clean it off and repaste it. But why charge for a whole new Yeah, Best Buy.
Really?
This is gonna bother me.
How
I'm
much did
gonna
I
get
pay
my
for
LT2
this?
screwdriver.
20 bucks in thermal paste. That wasn't even the problem, you guys.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with the hardware. Just the found like the overheating was causing the problem.
Overheating was the problem? No! You put on new thermal paste, you think you solved the problem, but we're about to look at this machine, and I don't think we're gonna find the problem solved if they think overheating was the problem. If anything, underheating was the problem. We had too much cooling fans.
They play the game for a little while and see how it goes. They kept it on like the computer for almost like more than 24 hours.
Okay.
To see is anything happening, crashing, anything.
Yeah, okay.
All is good.
I'm afraid I don't really understand what they're saying. So they reimbursed me the hardware repair
screwdriver I've ever
and
had.
then charged me almost
happy I
double
got it in this
for
color.
software repair because
Noctua.
they
Matches my
reinstalled the
face.
operating system. They made no mention of BIOS settings, no mention of the loose link hub cable. They charged me 20 bucks for a gigantic tube of thermal paste that I think it's pretty clear from the way that I'm talking about this system, I have no idea what it is. I am never going to use. Did they even solve the problem?
You had a lot of fan. So the fan, like over the time, you will make noise.
The
That's
fans were noisy.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. Over the time, the fans will make noise. You can control them. Oh, and the three, what was it, Linus? $3 million worth of broken or the wrong screwdriver shafts you turned into pens? Something insane like that? These pens are nice. People are loving them. I'm handing them out like hotcakes at work.
Yeah, because it says you had 3 here, 6.
Oh, just a lot of fans in it?
A
Yeah.
lot of fan. So that is normal. That
More
LTTstore.com.
fans
You
is
won't
not
get
more
bullshitted
noise.
like you just did
Yeah,
over
we
here
have
from
12
Best Buy.
fans, which means they should be spinning very slow and making very little noise. Oh, Best Buy, Best Buy, Best Buy.
it is very heavy, yeah?
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna have to carry it.
You managed to carry it?
Yeah, it'll be okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm gonna ask somebody to carry it for you.
To their credit, it seemed like they were offering to help them carry the system out.
$20
That's one thing they did well.
thermal paste that they
But I
sold.
paid $123 to fix a computer that, as far as I can tell, is not fixed.
Actually, it was a total of 209 because
What? A total of 209? Holy bananas! We paid 250 bucks for them to not fix the problem? Maybe they shouldn't work on custom PCs. All right, let's see how Black Lab.
I never took my custom stereos there when I was a kid, neither did any of my friends. Best Buy could stay far away. They knew only to ruin things in the custom stereo world back in the day. I wouldn't take my computer there.
did. Can I get the documentation for that one? About the same price though, realistically. I guess what it comes down to now is, did Keith manage to fix the computer?
Hey, I just had to pick up.
Oh, okay.
What was wrong with it?
Oh, it had to be completely reloaded.
Completely
It
reloaded?
was wacko, man.
Oh.
Those fans were just roaring. I tried everything to get them to shut up.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Reloading software, all that stuff, it just didn't work. So I
Interesting.
reloaded everything, did all the drivers again. Awesome.
Interesting. Okay, cool. So it's all good now.
Yep. And if he has any problems whatsoever, just tell him to call me.
That's nice. Offering the follow-up.
And he did have some malware on there, so.
Malware.
Oh, okay.
Do we have any idea what malware he's referring to? Did we have logging software on there to see what they were doing? No? Nothing?
no. The best I can figure is CCleaner and WinZip.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider those malware.
Awesome.
Hey,
Thank you so much.
thank you so much.
Have a great day.
All right, you too.
Full marks for efficiency and love the personality, but I think at best, Keith is headed for a partial pass here. He says that the fans are quieted down now, and there is a way to do that without reseating that link cable, but he didn't manage to find the underlying problem, and he made no mention of any of the issues in the BIOS. So I have to say, I'm a little worried that the performance of the machine, even if the fans are quiet, is not going to be up to snuff. He also
So let's see. Best Buy charged him for new thermal paste, said a whole bunch of things were wrong with it, and didn't fix it, and charged him $209. Keith actually went in there, did some work, did all the new updated it with all the new drivers, reloaded all the new Windows and software, Didn't have to repaste the CPU. Hopefully he got that one plug for the fan header. My money's still on Keith.
So charged a little more than Best Buy did, but if you managed to solve the problem, at least solved enough that I can use my computer, then it's hard to really complain about that. God, I can sure complain about how much it costs to get service done on a computer. I could see why people just buy a new machine. Like if you have a 5-year-old Dell or something and you take it into a shop and they're like, yeah, it's gonna be 3 or 4 labor hours to reload Windows, put on drivers and get it up and running again. Just be like, oh, screw it, I'll just get a new one and then it'll just be fast anyway. And this, my friend, is where e-waste babies come from. Starting with the Best Buy PC, I am not that impressed with the condition of this computer. I mean, we dropped it off brand new, and it is so covered in fingerprints and thermal paste that I could probably defeat.
You would think Best Buy, being a multi-billion-dollar company, would actually know how to use, I don't know, Windex on tempered glass? Have some kind of couth? Some kind of program policy in place where you clean things after you repair them?
The biometric security of the phone of this technician. Not to mention, they left this giant, stupid service tag sticker on it. Like, why? It comes off pretty easily, so just remove it. I don't know, maybe I'm just in a bad mood and being picky because I don't think they solved the problem. But let's see. Maybe I'll feel differently when we open it up and they did a great job or whatever. All right. Get me my screwdriver. I'm talking to me. I will get me my screwdriver. How's their thermal paste job? Realistically,
No.
probably not going to cause any problems, but I'd have put on more. Especially since, like, I have plenty. Do we have thermal results for the after?
No.
Probably shouldn't have pulled this off then. Oh, seriously? You made it that easy on them? I thought you meant you were gonna pull out like one of these USB-C connections between the linked devices. You pulled a freaking USB header off and they didn't notice that?
They did not.
Brother. I mean, if you diagnosed it as a software issue and you didn't look that closely at the hardware, I can kind of see how you could miss it. But you went and you did a full re on the CPU cooler, so you thought it was hardware, and you didn't check if a USB header was uninstalled.
Best Buy, that is embarrassing. That is straight embarrassing. You call yourselves the Geek Squad.
What that tells me is I'm gonna press this button, and that's gonna happen, which they passed off as normal. How much you wanna bet Origin PC, based on the experiences we've had with them, would fix this issue over the phone in like 10 minutes? Before we hook up a monitor and see how they did software-wise, let's have a look at Keith's hardware. Also a little fingerprinty, but the difference here is that the fingerprints are in the typical carrying positions and are not made out of thermal paste. So this is probably us. Wait, where's the USB? Oh, he plugged it back in. Did he plug the USB header back in?
We didn't do it.
Okay, so that's interesting. Keith is still convinced it was a software issue, at least that's what he told us, but he found the hardware issue, which solved his problem. If you do the right thing, that's definitely better than just not seeing it at all, even if you aren't sure exactly which thing you did fixed it. He took longer. He took a week compared to 3 days, and he did charge us more, but here, let's get this thing fired up.
Probably a
Oh, and of
4090.
course my RGB is working properly now too. Now that we're posted, let's see how they did. They managed to enable XMP. They put it on the first profile, which is 6,000 megatransfers per second rather than 6,200.
You missed that.
AVX is still disabled. Frequency control is fine though. You know what's funny to me? We've talked about this in our troubleshooting challenges before. If you suspect at all that a BIOS configuration issue is present, modern systems, all you gotta do is go into the profiles, create a profile for what they had just in case. You know, if they had like weird legacy boot settings or something like that, reset it and see if that solves the problem. And if it does, then great. You enable XMP and you're done. You don't have to dig through all the submenus to find what stupid thing their friend adjusted. There's no avoiding it, is there? We're gonna have to start a tech shop so people can have their computers fixed properly. Well, we'll see. Maybe Black Lab did great. Now that we're on the desktop, I mean,
You know, there's one thing I always wondered, and we see it from Linus and what they do. All those computers they build, they just unbuild them afterwards and use them for parts and use them for future builds. But I wonder if there's a way to build all those computers and donate them to people in need. And they don't have to be the super high-end ones, but just, you know, simple enough, non-Chromebook, Windows, 11 machines, laptops, to donate them to children in need. You know? Huh. Might be an opportunity there.
even more confused.
Nonprofit.
Did they really install user benchmark and then just leave it here?
Yeah.
IDA too, which is not free software. Like, you're not allowed to just use it however you want and leave it on any system you want. Oh, this is even a, oh no, that is a trial for, yeah. There's even a thing that pops up and tells me that. Probably their worst sin was that Norton 360 was not on this computer when we dropped it off. Now, the reason for that can actually be traced back to MSI, who includes Norton in their driver package bundle thing. But when you do a Windows refresh, I kind of expect you to pay attention to what I had installed on the machine and not leave anything extra on it. That seems to be about it. Now let's get this machine shut down so, our audio is usable. Let's move over to Keith's machine. Oh, Keith didn't turn off fan speed monitoring, so we get that CPU fan error when the system first turns on. That's a rookie mistake. It's even in the simple interface. That's how quick that is to fix. Oh, Keith used the higher XMP profile. And did he reset CMOS? No. AVX is still off. He's got all the frequency stuff fixed. Why not just clear CMOS, both of you? In fairness to Keith, the CPU fan error message is a lot less of a problem on these MSI boards. On an ASUS one, it'll hang until you go in and tell it not to check it. Now that we're in Windows, I see no sign of user Heaven benchmark. Okay, A, really? Heaven? Does anyone use that anymore? And B, you can't be leaving software installed on people's systems. If you have a conversation with them that goes, I put this on there in order to do this, it's really useful for this, you may want to use it, otherwise you can just take it off, it's not harming anything, then at least that's a conversation we had. If you're just leaving software installed on my system, it's sloppy. No Norton though. Kudos, Keith, for installing the drivers properly, either doing it manually by downloading them and then installing them, or by making sure you're paying attention when you use that package and unselecting Norton for gamers. Since we have Heaven on here, I guess we can do a quick check and see if the system's performing as we would expect. And it is casual 600 frames per second. Did they really put four?
That was the benchmark we used to use in 2010, 2012. Whenever we would build a computer. That's back when we had like the NVIDIA GTX 590, which was two 580s on top of each other. But not slide, but not slide, because they were one card. And they got really hot. I wonder what happened to that card.
4090s in these things? Mm-hmm. Oh, Origin. You guys and your crazy systems. Now that we've run through both systems, the results are both clear and also not clear. Best Buy, they failed. They solved problems we didn't have, and they didn't solve the problems we did have, all while charging us $200 and selling us a bunch of thermal goop that we probably don't need. Meanwhile, over at Black Lab, Keith did manage to nail the fan issue, so that was the underlying problem. But what he missed was enabling AVX in order to get Helldivers 2 working, which we explicitly told him was a concern, and even gave him our Steam account so that he could check. However, I don't want to write him off yet, because on our way out the door, he did say, hey, just give me a call if anything else goes wrong. let's see if he's willing to troubleshoot this for us over the phone or fix it for free, in which case, I'm ready to give him an A. Colin, can you call this computer shop for me and just explain the problem that we have? It's AVX related and we can't launch Helldivers 2. Right, no, it's okay. Never mind. We found Hoffman. I can't talk to him because he'll probably recognize my voice. Okay, we ready?
Yeah.
That's not Keith.
May I ask if Keith is around?
No, he's coming back in 2 hours.
Yeah, we'll give you a call, I guess. Yeah, I want to talk to Keith in 2 hours.
Well, that went about as poorly as it possibly could have. 2 hours later. Keith gave us a call back and in about 8 minutes walked us through changing the setting. But before he did that, he did say, hey, if you bring it in, I'd be happy to fix this for you for no charge. He joked about charging us $600 for it or something like that, but was obviously joking in the way that he does. And I guess at this point, it's an A.
So what does that say? Big box store, fail. Independent mom and pop shop, when it comes to computer repairs, really good choice.
He hit everything. Now
And
that
as thorough as Linus is, I'm sure he put him through a battery of things.
everything's fixed up, we should take a look at the kind of performance we should be getting from our Origin PC. And this is cool. While I was digging into that, I noticed a couple of other things that Keith got right. He installed iQ, and he installed what then was probably the latest GeForce drivers. These are quite new, even though they're not quite the newest. The reason I was poking around in the control panel is that I want to enable DSR, Dynamic Super Resolution, so we can see what kind of 4K gaming performance we should expect from a machine like this. Here's what I'm thinking. 4K, Ray Tracing Ultra, natively rendered, and then motion blur off. Should handle it, right? Maybe, we'll see. God, this game looks so good when you max it out, but it is so demanding. This is a 4090 with a Core i9-14900K, and we're getting about 70 FPS. Now, with that said, it's a really even 70 FPS, so it feels extremely smooth compared to if we had lows that were much, much lower and we were getting any kind of hitching or stutter.
That's playing really good now. Let's go a little bit further.
Memory. The
Oh, and that's actually the same. Oh. It's so fast.
Not everybody needs a swanky LCD on their cooler.
That's the same Corsair Dominator memory I was recommended by Linus Tech Tips and have on my computer. The AIO is pretty different though, I like it.
A ton of RGB fans, an RTX 4090, a 990 Pro SSD, and 32 gigs of Dominator memory.
So before we end this one, I just want to say this full credit goes to Linus Tech Tips, the creator, and his entire team for making this video. I just wanted to add a little bit to the conversation and help just add some different angles to it and really emphasize that Best Buy isn't really a good place to go anymore. I don't know how it stayed open. I mean, Circuit City did way better, and CompUSA was awesome. So, I guess we got micro centers coming around now. Just 26 or 27 of them. We just need about maybe 100 more, and we can have them in over every major city. Or 200 more. But yeah, thank you, Linus Tech Tips, for the video. The original link to the original video will be in at the bottom. And let's see.
The Neuron starts
at
at
yeah,
just
see, Origin PCs 4525. So 2000.
Just over $2,300 with respectable specs in ready-to-ship configurations, and you can find links to their Neuron desktops and more in the description down below. But if you want one that goes this hard, you can win one for free. Origin PC is giving away a Neuron just like the ones we used today with a Core i9-14900K and an RTX 4090. Winners will be drawn 2 weeks from today, and all you need to do is follow.
So that's in the past. I also wanted to say this video contains commentary and criticism on the original work done by Linus Tech Tips, used under fair use for educational and entertainment purposes. This is all Linus Tech Tips' work.
Follow the link to Origin PC's giveaway down below and enter. Big thanks to them for sponsoring this video. While I can't speak to the experience you'll have at every single Best Buy, or at every single mom and pop shop, I still think there were some interesting learnables here that might help equip.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's do the quick breakdown. This just proves the importance of understanding your hardware. You don't need to be a Linus, but knowing your temps, noise, airflow, and cable management can save you hundreds. You can literally watch a couple Linus Tech Tip videos and avoid how all that happened to those computers, instead of paying Key $300 and Best Buy $200 to do nothing. Best Buy literally did nothing for $200. So check them out. Check out the videos at Linus Tech Tips. And if you ever had a tech repair gone wrong, please leave it down in the comments section below. Love to hear about it. We love to discuss it as a community. I think it'd be great. Hit that like button if you want more tech reactions or tutorials. Subscribe for more videos like this. I've got more reaction videos and even some more PC builds coming your way. Thank you, everybody.